Okay, so we're going to use this kind of lean ground beef because if you use ground beef which is not lean enough, it's going to be a little bit greasy, and we want to avoid that. So what we do is we're going to get at least like 80% lean, such as this one here or that one right here. It is $10.49, which is not too bad. And if you want, you can use like turkey, ground beef, or ground pork, or ground anything. So as long as the meat is ground, it doesn't matter which one you use. Like you could use this lamb, or what do you call it, the buffalo meat, or whatever the kinds of meat, as long as it is ground. But today we're going to use this ground beef, which is 80% lean and 20% fat. Now, when you use ground beef that is like 90% lean, it may feel like it's like too dry when you make it into a dumpling. So I would recommend 80%, or if you want to, you can mix 80% with 90%, you know. So it's really up to you. Okay, this is the section for cream cheese and kombucha and our wrappers that we need. So there are different sizes of wrappers. Now this one, it says egg roll wrap. So this size is a little bit too big for dumplings because these are for egg rolls. So the size that we're going to use is this one right here. It says wonton wrappers. And there are about 40 pieces, if I remember correctly. And we are going to use this for our dumplings. And it's relatively easy to use. And you can make this like a family event. That is, everyone gets a wrapper and then put some meat, you know, the fillings, and then they make their own dumplings. And this is going to make a very, very memorable eating experience for many kids and for adults alike. For dumplings, we do need dipping sauce. So in order to make dipping sauce, we require two things today. So we're going to get soy sauce and vinegar. And I would recommend getting Kikkoman soy sauce, especially low sodium. Now, soy sauces are very, very important for Japanese cuisine, and they have been around for a long, long time. But if you look at this one here, this is the Kikkoman soy sauce, the original. And today, there are lots of us who need to watch how much sodium we take. So I would highly recommend to get Kikkoman soy sauce, which actually is brewed in Wisconsin here in the United States. Isn't that great? So they transported the technology and then they make soy sauce with American soybeans in Wisconsin. And I think that's a great idea. But anyway, so this is low sodium soy sauce, and it is 25% less sodium that it has. So we're going to get this one. Okay, and then what about vinegar then? There are again different kinds of Japanese vinegars in this section, and this one says rice vinegar, and it says sushi su, which means sushi vinegar, that is vinegar for sushi rice. So it says sweet and tangy flavored. Now this one here, it says Marukan rice vinegar, which actually it says right here. So it is simple kind of vinegar for salad dressings and other purposes. But for sushi rice, we like to use this one. And since our dumplings will be great and we really want to indulge ourselves a little bit, we're going to get this one for sushi. So watch out for the sweet and tangy taste of vinegar. So this is what we're going to get today. The recipes for our dumplings today requires only black pepper, because in Japan, my mother, you know, she loves to cook very, very simply. So she usually uses like salt and pepper and maybe soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce, something like that. But anyway, so we would like to add a little bit punch to our dumplings. So we're going to add cumin and black pepper to the ground beef and onions for seasoning. For the filling, we use ground beef and just one yellow onion. We're going to chop these to very, very fine pieces, and that's it. As you might remember, we got some ground beef, and we got 1 pound of ground beef here. Then we got wonton wrappers or wraps, and I think they're like 40 pieces, as I remember correctly. Then we got medium-sized onion, and we got this rice vinegar for sushi rice, which is sweet and tangy, and then Kikkoman low sodium soy sauce. The reason why I like Kikkoman soy sauce is it is naturally brewed, no chemicals going in there, which is very, very important. Some soy sauce companies, they use just chemicals to make it taste like soy sauce, but that's just colored water, isn't it? And I don't like that. But this one comes from soy sauce, which is great. And American soy sauce too. I mean, you know, American soybeans, so that's great. Then we got this cumin that we purchased at that market, and we got our black pepper, and we're going to fleshly grind this because it really enhances the taste of the beef and everything. So we're going to mince, you know, onions here. So as I said, please be very, very careful, because a lot of times you can chop off your fingers, which is crazy, but sometimes that does happen. So I go like this, and of course I am not a professional chef, so I'm basically an amateur person who got a C in her home econ class when she was in high school. I finished chopping onions without crying, which is great, isn't it? I didn't cry, no tears came out. Oh, of course I have dry eyes, you know. So I'm going to put these minced onion here, okay, and you can tell that I'm not a professional cook. Okay, so we would put these things over here, and then we're going to mix onions with ground beef. So we're going to put freshly ground black pepper here. And this is just to your taste, so as you like. You do it however much you want to do. And in order to enhance the taste of the meat, I would put a little bit of cumin here. So, oh, I have to be very careful. It's just a little bit of cumin like this. And it's going to make it delicious. So we're going to mix this, and then you have to really mix the onions with the ground beef very, very well. Okay, this is a lot of work for a small lady like me, so I'm going to take a hot water break. It's very good, very good. I really like it. It's much better than the soft drinks. And the secret of my beauty, that's my, you know, cup of hot water. A lot of people don't know it, but drinking cold water is not good for your body. But drinking warm or a little bit hot kind of water, it really invigorates you. It makes you feel, you know, more energetic, which is interesting, isn't it? Because you need water anyway. So why should you, you know, drink cold water when you can afford to get some hot water? Especially in the winter time, this is great. Okay, back to work now. We're now done with mixing the fillings, which are ground beef and onions. So we're going to wrap them and make our dumplings. So I open this, and then you need a bowl of water so that we can put them together. And I will show you how it works. So we would take about this much here. I wish it is money, but it is wonton rods. So you would put it down here. So what you do is you're going to take, okay, so we're going to get started with the smaller ones here. So you would put the ingredients on the wrap, and then you would kind of squeeze them kind of tightly to make it like nice ball, just halfway here. And you would wet your fingers with this water here. So now this is the origami with food. So this is how you do it. Just like in origami, you will put the corners together like this, and make sure that you don't put air in there because it's not going to be good, especially if you want to boil the dumplings. Okay, so do it like this, push them down, then go like this, and then we really want to make sure that they are sealed. So we're going to make a crease, just one here, one here, one here, and one here. So this is one dumpling that I made. Just cute, isn't it? Okay, so you can fry, like deep fry these, or just fry on a pan, or you can steam, or you can boil. So try to make sure that you do not let all these, fillings get out of the wrap. Okay? What you can do as a family event or with your friends is like you do have a contest of who can make most dumplings, the most quickly, something like that. And then it's going to be a lot of fun. And obviously, not just 2 hands, but 4 hands, 6 hands, they always help with the process of food preparation. And it is a lot of fun to share the moment of cooking food together as a family or with your friends. So this is a kind of communal kind of thing. So the hostess can just prepare the ingredients and then let the guest work on their dumplings. And it's a lot easier to do. The ingredients can be just about anything for the filling. So my friend who owns a Chinese restaurant, his restaurant has minced shrimp inside the dumplings, which makes the dumplings taste so good. And then also it could be pork, ground pork, or vegetables. If you want vegetarian kind of dumplings, then you can put cabbage, mushrooms, and carrots, or any other vegetables, as long as they are chopped or minced or whatever you call. And it makes very good appetizer, whether vegetable or meat dumplings. So you can have tremendous amounts of varieties. And also for some people who do like punches in your food, what you can do is you can add chopped garlic or chopped ginger as well. And they really add to the punch of the food. But for some people, like for example, if you're having a date after dinner or something, or going to a movie with your boyfriend or girlfriend, you don't want dumplings with garlic because that's going to really kill the romance. And you know what I mean, right? The overpowering garlic power of that stinky bread. So if you do use garlic in your dumplings, my suggestion is you have to eat your dumplings with apples, because apples, interestingly enough, erases the stinkiness of garlic. So for those of you who are thinking about going out after dinner, I would recommend you to eat apple if you do use garlic in your dumplings. What about dessert? Good question, isn't it? So you can make nice dessert with this wonton wrap. So what you can do is, for example, like many Chinese restaurants have like crab rangoon, something like that. That is, they do have a little bit of artificial crab meat and put some cream cheese, and then they would make it, like this dumpling shape, and then they would deep fry, and that makes a very delicious dessert. And also, as far as the shapes are concerned, we're using this square one, which is available at the supermarket. But if you go to Asian stores, they do have the shape like round shape. So that is usually the traditional shape of dumplings. But we have to do whatever we can do, and we don't have these things. So, but this triangle one, this is usually made for wonton. But the round, wraps, usually they're made. They're used for dumplings. It's just basically, the ingredients are the same, right? ravioli has all this pasta that goes between the meat and the cheese or whatsoever. And so the dumplings are pretty much international food. So when you go to Turkey, then you find very teeny tiny dumplings, which is called manta. And then when you go to Korea and Japan and Taiwan, China, then they do have gyoza, which is what I'm making right here. And then when you go to Poland, then they do have pierogi, and there are other names in other countries, but the notion is the same thing, that you use the wrap. You make the wrap with flour, water, and a little bit of salt, and then you would put fillings in it. So ravioli, basically, that's Italian, I guess, and pierogi, Polish, and gyoza, Asian, and manta, Turkish, and so on. So it is kind of interesting, because when we study human societies, a lot of times we're so different, but sometimes when we notice the differences, we start to notice the similarities as well. So we're talking about different ingredients or different shapes, but the concepts are pretty much the same. And that is one of the most wonderful things about studying the world societies. You know, you learn the differences, but at the same time you start to notice the similarities, and the similarities derive from our humanness. We're totally all human, and then we are similar regarding what we think or what we make. Just talking about like these dumplings, you know, isn't that going to be interesting? Now we've finished making all these dumplings. Look, beautiful, huh? Now, before we cook them, we would like to come up with this dipping sauce. So how do we make it? And then we're going to use 3 parts of vinegar to 1 part of soy sauce. And this is the kind of gold standard in Japan. 1 part of soy sauce, and then the 3 parts. And you would put some black pepper, fresh sugar, some pepper, and just mix it like this. So that's your dipping sauce, which is going to be so tasty. And make sure you make the dipping sauce before you start cooking, because once you're cooking, then everything's gonna get so busy, and you're gonna know why it gets so busy soon. Okay? Okay, so here is a pan. So we're going to put this down and then heat it to medium, high to high. But if you use high, then you may burn it. So what you want to do is start with medium high. Okay? And then I have to, any oil will do. Olive oil or vegetable oil, or we're going to use canola oil today. So you would put this over here, and then you would go like this. This is what I do, but a lot of people may do it differently. So I need a spatula. So I get spatula here. Then just use it like this, and you're going to place your dumpling 1 by 1 like this. Okay, maybe I should make it high now. So make sure they do not stick together, because when they stick together, sometimes it is very, very difficult to separate them, just like dogs sometimes, you know what I mean. Okay, so you would put these dumplings over here, and then now you would go to high heat, and depending on what kind of heat source you have, gas usually cooks better than electric, or IH, I guess this is what you call IH or something like that. So we're going to wait until they brown at the bottom. Yeah, okay. It's good. Because I don't want to burn them. So you think that we're just browning the dumplings, but there's going to be a magic afterwards. And we really need to do that to make them taste really good and, you know, exciting. Okay, because we really want to make sure that it's cooked fully, especially if you use ground pork. Ground beef maybe, you know, as long as it's cooked, it's going to be okay. But like ground pork, you really have to make sure that they are cooked very well. So when they start to brown like that, it's a sign that they're being cooked. Gosh, this is hard to do. I need chopsticks. Make sure that they're all brown, but on all sides. The smell of onions. Okay, now, so when it gets to this point where they are all brown, you need to add just 1 spoonful of water to add the special touch to your dumplings. So please be careful, because I do not want you to be burned, you know, but this has to be done. So you would put just a little bit of water. Now we can turn off the heat here. And you have to keep waiting for a while. The sound of dumplings being cooked. It's great. Let's see if they're done. Yes, they are. They're done. So we are finished with cooking. Wonderful. So this is my most favorite time. That is the time for tasting the food. So I'm going to dive into this one here. And then, do you remember the dipping sauce? So I would just dip it like this. And sometimes you can be generous, and sometimes you just have to be stingy, depending on the level of sodium that you can take. But anyway, so I'm going to go eat now. I'm so happy. Now this one, it says Yakult, and this is a very, very famous and traditional Japanese health drink. It's been around for a long, long time, and basically this is like yogurt drink, except that it is not yogurt, but this is good for your digestion. And my dad used to love this. He would drink every single day, and then he got stomach cancer, and eventually he died. But when I visited him in the nursing home, the last word he said was Yakult, and he was connected to all the tubes and everything, and I could not get it. So, you know, I have a kind of bittersweet memory about Yakult, because this is the first kind of drinks that my parents ordered for me. So they deliver, you know, every day in the morning, and then I used to go get it and drink it when I was a child in Japan.